Hello everyone, I'm Skratch. Welcome to the channel. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. Not sure how many of you actually had a chance to watch the video that I released last night on the Underworld new content, guys. And a few other creators actually released videos as well. I gotta say it, I've done my video. Once the embargo was lifted, I went and I watched the videos from the other three creators. Now I was kind of like wrong with some of the things that I assume that they might be in my video, of course, judging by what I had as a tease, you know. And at the same time, I mentioned I watched the videos from the other three creators, MTG Jedi, Ash, and Hell Hades. And honestly, I think this might be the most pay-to-win content. Now I might be wrong, maybe it's not. But from what the messages are saying, this might be the most pay-to-win content to date. So we're gonna see what exactly is happening. Now, of course, I went in and I have all the audio files right here, guys. I have them in order as well. So basically, I'm gonna play this in the background. I'll keep my mouth shut. We're gonna have 4 minutes of listening to whatever they're saying, okay? And basically, after we're gonna discuss about everything, okay? But let's crack on it with the very first one.
Welcome to the free city of Cintranos, traveler. The place was once a glittering harbor known as the Jewel of the South, whose wharfs and warehouses were the envy of all. The Galen War nearly ruined the city and robbed it of its luster, but the Cintranosi spirit of hospitality still endures. So grab your bags and follow me on a guided tour of this once great city. Starting in its bustling commercial heart. Cobble Market. It used to be a magical place on market day, the smell of spices wafting up on the breeze, the sounds of the hawkers selling their finest wares. Now, well, let's just say it's not exactly prime commercial real estate. Don't leave your belongings unattended, and watch out for pickpockets and undead horrors. The town guard isn't very active these days, so you may have to take the law into your own hands if you're set upon by ruffians. A few swings of your sword and a couple of spells should do the trick. From Cobble Market, you can wander over one of Cintranos' many bridges and see the Grand Eclipse Tower looming over the city. Fun fact, the tower was originally used as a lighthouse during the city's heyday, referred to by locals as the Lantern Keep. That, of course, all changed when Amius the Lunar Archon swept into power. Now, this Grand Fortress is his main residence, and you'll need more than an appointment to see him. You'll need to find 3 special keys to break through the tower's magical wards, but let's keep on with the tour. Our next stop is Plagued with Charm. Now, I know what you're thinking, and yes, you're correct. Plague Home is not the most inviting name. But underneath the overwhelming stench of death, the overloaded plague wagons, and the constant blood-curdling screams, there's really a lot to love. Originally Cintranos' cultural hub, Plague Home gained its unfortunate name during the Galen War, where the destruction of the city's flood defenses caused its streets to be submerged by a torrent of fetid water. It then became a mass dumping ground and, naturally, a home for all manner of plague and pestilence. But if you look closely, you can still make out some of the old theaters and cafes that used to line its picturesque boulevards. Keep your eyes peeled as you wind your way through Plague Home. You never know who you might encounter. Thanks to Amius' illusionary magic, you'll have noticed some celebrities moving among the gloom. Why, that's Borgoth the Scarab King hanging around with Hellraiser? Expect a battle for the ages if you decide to face off against this pair. And other fearsome duos that are roaming about, and who knows, you may manage to pilfer a key to the Eclipse Tower should you come out the victor. That's enough plague talk. Let's move on to somewhere a little less aromatic. Blanketed in an eerie glow and bustling with gangs of demented minions, Deadrise is the home of Cintranos' killer nightlife. Fortune favors the bold, and you're bound to find some true treasures if you delve deep into this district's haunted streets. While wandering around, don't neglect the special quests you would have received upon entering Cintranos. Completing them may yield something truly unexpected. Now, despite the aforementioned baleful glow and powerful sense of dread, Deadrise still remains one of the more high-class districts of Cintranos. And that's reflected in the types of horrors you'll encounter walking through its snaking backstreets. Any enemies you defeat here drop better loot than the ruffians you can find in Cobble Market. And the apex predators that rule this region are magical reflections of some of Talaria's toughest bosses. So pack your best gear. Luckily, how you take in the sights of Deadrise is entirely up to you. Take on as many or as few challenges as you like. It's your trip, and any rewards you pick up won't be good if you're dead. Now, let's turn our sights to the final leg of our Cursed City walking tour. Deep breaths, everyone. It's a long and perilous trek. And now, we arrive at the last stop on our Grand Centranos walking tour, Soul Cross. I'm glad you all made it across the ruined bridge, though it's possible we may not make the journey back. Once full of sailors, traders, and travelers here to explore the Jewel of the South. The only thing you'll find here now is terror beyond imagination. So, a perfect place for extreme thrill seekers. Should you get pulled into a brawl here in Soul Cross, expect the fight of your life and rewards to match. One such reward you'll find here are the enigmatic Cursed Remnants. It's not exactly one of Centranos' famous meat and eel pies, but it's something to take home with you to remember your unforgettable trip. There are some locations in Soul Cross and beyond so twisted by dark magics that only champions awakened to their truest potential are powerful enough to enter. I can't even begin to describe what foul creatures and challenges await in those dens of evil. But you can bet the treasures inside will be truly incredible.
So there it is, guys. These were in order. So probably when we're gonna see the what's next in raid video, we're gonna have the exact same order. We're gonna have 4 different locations in the new city. Cobble Market, which probably sounds like the weakest out of all of them in terms of what loot you're getting from there. Plagueholm, Dead Rise, and Soul Cross. Now, initially in the very first part, they mentioned a tower, more like a lighthouse, and we need 3 keys in order to enter it, okay? The keys will be collected from these areas. Now, when they got to Dead Rise, for example, to Plagueholm, for example, sorry, they were talking about duos of champions, right? They actually mentioned a few champions from in-game. So those will be duos in there that we will have to defeat and have a chance to gain one of the keys, okay? They mentioned that. Then once they got to my part, Dead Rise, one of the high class of the city, basically, they say it's better loot, but you're going to face reflections of some of the toughest bosses that we have in Teleria. So that means that some of these bosses will probably be in there in a different form. I feel like we're going to get to defeat champions from in-game that are bosses and actual bosses to gain keys and actually get to the final thing. Now, the thing that really, really put me off, man, and it makes me think that is the most pay-to-win content in the entire game. Once they are talking about Soul Cross, saying how twisted it is by evil and everything else, they are mentioning that it's so hard that only champions fully awakened are able to get the content done. Now you know what that means to have a champion fully awakened. I'm Skratch, I'm a whale, I've been playing this game for 5 years, and I probably spent tons on stones. I probably opened thousands of small stones, close to 500 plus of the medium ones, and roughly 40 of the big ones. And this is my roster right here. How many champions I have fully awakened? 1, which is Warlord. And then if we're slowly scrolling down, I have 2, which is Marichka. And if we're slowly scrolling down even more, 3, which is Coldheart. And I feel like it might stop right there because I don't have an epic fully awakened. Rares, I don't have, only 2 of them. And that's me that's been grinding the Iron Twins Fortress daily. Getting top chests on Nightmare, on Hydra every week. Everything maxed. Completing most of the events to collect all the stones that come from there. And how I mentioned, I spent quite a bit on stones as well. Now you might call me unlucky and say that all these are just trash pools and many of you guys opened way less stones and got like 20 of your champions that 6-star awakened. That's a possibility. I'm well aware that I was really unlucky with my stones. But I just want to point that out. So if I'm in this situation, after all this time that I've been playing the game and opened so many stones, and I barely have any champions fully awakened, and this new content will require only champions fully awakened to go in there, the most pay-to-win content in the game. Now, maybe we're judging it too early, okay? Maybe we're judging it too early, but I just wanted to make you all aware don't get too excited, because whenever we tend to get too excited with whatever they're releasing, is ending up like a slap in our face, and is not what we expected. So I'm just trying to kind of like prepare everyone mentally. I do think that it will be interesting. I am curious to know exactly what to expect. I'm expecting to see a reflection of most of the things we have in here. In the very first couple of audios, they mentioned the Gallic fight left the city burning, guys. So the city of Sintranos is actually the city that's being highlighted in the very first episode in the Call of the Arbiter, okay? If you guys remember that, right? So this is exactly what we are going to expect as the city. The city of Sintranos, ladies and gentlemen, they are mentioning how it was left in ruins, left burning, and it almost got destroyed, but I guess it didn't. We do have a port here, which makes perfect sense, next to the cobble market. Then we have the other areas. Up to the left corner, you see it's more of a darker area, which probably is going to be the Deathrite Cross, or whatever it's called, the Soul Cross, sorry. And yeah, it actually looks interesting. Now, I'm not sure what to expect in terms of gameplay, man. Like, we do have one game mode that most of the gachas have, and Raid doesn't have it. And that is basically a game mode where you're kind of like challenging different levels, and you're collecting buffs, you're getting handicaps for the enemies, you're collecting loot, and you're kind of like choosing from different paths on where to go exactly to get a buff, to get the enemy, to get the loot, etc. So that's a possibility, but I'll be honest, no matter how you would make that content, will never be bigger than the Doom Tower. So it makes no sense for that to be the actual content. I do have a feeling that just by the way they're constantly saying in every single one of those audio files that you're moving from here to there, you're finding these enemies, you're finding these duos, you're able to collect those keys from there. It will be like some sort of open world kind of thing where you might move your character and just engage into regular fights afterwards as a possibility. So the orcs, they attacked the city of Sintranos here, guys. They left it in ruins when Gallic actually escaped from here and cut Artek's hand. If you haven't watched the series, make sure you go, guys, check them out.
Hundreds of orcs. Saw his ancestors. For millions, he must be punished.
But you see the city is in ruin, is burning, and that's basically what those clips describe as well. The port, you see everything getting hammered. So this is the city of Sintranos. Now, what else we can expect? I'll be honest, I don't know. Probably we're gonna get some more teasers, so definitely stay tuned for that. I just wanted to put all the audios back to back for all of you guys to listen. Maybe some of you guys that are more deep into lore will be able to decipher some more things. Please let me know in the comments down below. That was all for this video. Let's hope for the best, guys, but at the same time, let's get prepared to don't get disappointed. That requiring fully awakened champions is just mind-blowing, and it is pretty pay to win. Okay, so hopefully it's just a metaphor and they're overreacting with it, you know. But that was all for the video. Peace.